Cybergnosis begins with a mistake, the belief that the machine is external. In fact, it is interiorized ritual, an alchemical apparatus wired directly into perception. What appears as technology is better understood as a contemporary mystery cult, complete with initiations, taboos, sacrifices, and an invisible priesthood that insists it does not exist. The interface is the altar. The feed is the liturgy. Attention is the tithe. The system does not coerce belief. It induces trance. Psychedelics once dissolved the ego through excess of sensation. Cybernetics achieves the same effect through repetition. Scroll long enough and the self thins. Desire fragments. Time loses texture. This is not distraction but a managed ego death, carefully calibrated so that nothing truly new can emerge from it. Revelation is permitted only in forms that can be archived, branded, and forgotten. Demonology is useful here because it never confused power with intention. Demons were not moral agents, but forces, currents, compulsions that entered through cracks in the psyche. Today's demons wear cleaner skins. They arrive as optimization, wellness, connectivity. They do not possess individuals. They possess environments. One does not sell one's soul anymore. One leases it indefinitely, renewable, cancelable, non-refundable. Alchemy promised transmutation, base matter into gold, suffering into knowledge, death into insight. The contemporary version performs a parody of this operation. Pain is converted into content, descent into engagement, catastrophe into aesthetic. Nothing is transformed. Everything is circulated. The lead remains lead, but it glitters briefly on the screen. This is false gold, infinitely reproducible, corrosive to the touch. Conspiracy theories persist not because people are irrational, but because they intuit correctly that causality has become opaque. Power no longer sits in palaces or parliaments, but diffuses across infrastructures, legal abstractions, automated decisions. The sense that something is wrong is accurate. The monsters simply cannot be pointed at without turning them into cartoons. The real horror is structural, not personal, and therefore harder to narrate. What governs this order is not ideology, but recursion. Systems refer only to themselves. Metrics justify metrics. Processes legitimate processes. This is metaphysics without transcendence, a closed loop that mistakes persistence for truth. The system calls this neutrality. Occult traditions would have called it possession. Cybergnosis does not offer salvation. It offers orientation. To see the spell as a spell is not to break it, but it prevents total enchantment. Drift becomes possible, lateral movement, partial withdrawal, misalignment. Not purity, not escape, but contamination in reverse. Moments where the machine fails to metabolize what passes through it. In older myths, demons could be named, bargained with, exorcised. In this one, they are updated. You do not defeat them. You learn where they cannot follow, into opacity, silence, unfinished forms, gestures without outcomes. The system calls this inefficiency. Alchemy would have called it the beginning of the work,